apparently the chick that he's been with that came up with the whole Basketball Wives show concept, Jackie, had cheated on him with Chris Webber and had a baby that is now in her 20s. And she basically lied and had Doug Christie thinking that this young lady was his daughter, when in all actuality, it was Chris Webber's baby.
So that's real news.
Do you ever watch a couple on TV and think to yourself, something about them feels a little too perfect? Like, it looks good on the outside, but deep down, you can tell something isn't adding up? That's exactly the feeling a lot of people had when they looked at Doug and Jackie Christie. Now, don't get me wrong, they've been together a long time, since 1996. That's nearly 3 decades of marriage, public love, reality shows, interviews, and moments that fans thought were sweet and genuine. Doug was known as the NBA player who blew kisses to his wife during games. Every game. People thought it was romantic. And Jackie? She took things even further. She had them renewing their vows every single year. Not every few years, not for big milestones. Every single year. A lot of people saw that and thought, wow, that's real devotion right there.
Christie runs his life. To the point where he was playing with the Sacramento Kings, when he out on the bench, he wasn't allowed to look up because she said she didn't want him to catch the eye of a cheerleader or somebody in the crowd. And you see this on tape because they did a whole special on it, to where he sits down on the bench after he gets subbed out and have to do this till he gets subbed back in.
They even became a symbol of what a strong marriage could look like in a world where celebrity relationships fall apart fast. But sometimes the image you see is not the truth behind the scenes. The more they pushed that perfect marriage storyline, the more people started whispering. Why was Jackie at every event? Why didn't Doug go anywhere alone? Why was there always another vow renewal? And why did every moment of their relationship feel like a show, a performance? Those whispers grew louder over the years, but nobody had proof. Nobody had anything solid. It was just a feeling. Until now. Because something has finally come out, and this information flips their entire story upside down. It creates a whole new picture of their marriage. And honestly, it explains things better than anything else ever has.
I was doing nothing but telling the truth. I heard her say it, and I repeated it. I'm grown, and I do what I want. You know who I am. I'm Jackie Christie. That ain't gonna change.
What if I told you that their picture-perfect love story was sitting on a secret so heavy, so life-changing, that it might have been holding their entire marriage together by the thinnest thread possible? Let's get into the shocking part, the piece that changes everything. For years, Doug Christie has proudly raised his daughter Chantel. Fans know her from reality TV and social media. She's always been right beside Doug and Jackie in interviews, events, and family pictures. Doug never hesitated to call her his daughter. He showed her love, he showed up for her, and nobody ever questioned anything, not even once. But recently, things shifted in a quiet but powerful way. Chantel legally filed to change her last name, and that's when people started paying attention, because name changes don't happen without a reason.
I need to finish what I started, and that's the only reason that I ever even stepped onto the sideline from where I was at initially, because I had to exercise some demons for myself. But more than anything is when you hear the narratives that are written by people who are not here and just have random stuff to say, it irks me because they don't know.
You don't wake up one morning and decide to walk away from the last name you carried your whole life, especially when you come from a public family. Something had to push her to do it. That something was a DNA test. A test that allegedly showed that her biological father wasn't Doug, but Chris Webber. And when that information slipped out, everything started making sense. The distance between Chantel and the Christies, the sudden silence, the legal paperwork, the shift in her tone online, it all lined up. people started asking themselves, would someone really change their name and separate themselves from the man who raised them unless something big happened? Because that choice is emotional, painful, personal, and it usually comes from a truth you can't ignore. And here's where things get even harder to process. Doug had no idea.
Crazy. The enemy wants us to be distracted, man. Gotta put your blinders on. Stay focused, man.
For almost 30 years, he's been renewing vows, building a family, writing books, defending his marriage, and raising children with love. And all this time, he was unknowingly raising another man's daughter. But wait, it gets worse. Because word on the internet is that Jackie knew. Not recently, not a few years ago, but from the very beginning. There are claims of a journal entry and a voicemail where she talked about keeping the truth hidden to protect the family. And when you think about Jackie's personality, controlling, image-focused, dramatic, territorial, it suddenly makes sense. Jackie has always run her marriage like a production. She controls the narrative. She controls appearances. She controls what people see. So if something threatened her perfect storyline, her family brand, her position on reality TV, her image, would she really risk losing everything? That is exactly why many people believe Jackie stayed silent, because if Doug had found out back then, everything would have fallen apart. Their reality TV opportunities, their image as the perfect couple, their public brand, all of it depended on one thing: Doug believing he was Chantel's father. And that brings us to another uncomfortable truth people are now discussing. For years, fans have noticed something strange. Doug Christie was never alone. Whenever he went anywhere, a meeting, an event, a game, an appearance, Jackie was right there beside him. At first, people thought it was sweet. After all, the NBA world has seen countless marriages break apart due to cheating, travel, and temptation. So seeing a husband who wanted his wife with him all the time seemed loyal at first. But after a while, that behavior didn't look healthy. It looked excessive. Doug wasn't just a devoted husband. He seemed monitored, watched, controlled. People noticed he never traveled alone. He never attended professional events alone. He couldn't even go train or work out without Jackie being nearby. And that's not normal. That's not partnership. That's oversight. And now, knowing everything we know today, people are starting to wonder if Jackie's controlling behavior came from guilt, from fear, from doing everything she could to keep Doug close so he never looked too closely at anything she didn't want him to see. Let's talk about those yearly vow renewals. Every anniversary, without fail, Jackie and Doug renewed their vows. They turned it into a huge event. Sometimes it was filmed, sometimes it was broadcast, sometimes it became a storyline on reality TV. People thought it was romantic, but now it looks like something else entirely. Because when you're hiding something major, something that could destroy your marriage, you overcompensate. You give the world a love show. You perform romance. You tell everyone how strong your relationship is. You put out a public image so shiny and perfect that nobody stops to question what's underneath. Some fans said it perfectly. When someone pushes their love story too hard, it's because they're trying to distract you from something. And when you look at the Christies through that lens, everything suddenly fits. The kisses during games, the vow renewals, the interviews about loyalty, the public speeches about commitment. It wasn't just love. It was cover. It was protection. It was Jackie's way of keeping her secret buried. Meanwhile, Doug kept showing up. He kept being faithful. He kept loving his family with everything he had. He kept believing every word Jackie told him. He kept standing by her side, not knowing she had betrayed him in the deepest way a partner could. And now we have to talk about the person in the center of all this, Chris Webber. Where is he, and why is he silent? Think about it. If someone accused you of fathering a child in a story this explosive and messy, you'd speak up. Even a simple, "this is not true," or "I won't entertain lies," would shut things down. But Chris? Nothing. Not a post, not a denial, not a word. And in the court of public opinion, silence speaks loudly. People saw Chris and Jackie together back in the day. They attended events, they had chemistry. Everyone knew they were close before Jackie married Doug. And now, with this DNA rumor trending everywhere, people are revisiting old photos, old clips, old interviews, and things are clicking in ways they never clicked before. Maybe Chris wasn't just an old friend. Maybe their connection wasn't as innocent as it seemed. Maybe that bond never truly ended. Maybe that's why Jackie clung so tightly to Doug, because he was the safe choice, the stable image, the man who would never walk away even if something felt off. And now, there's another twist. Chantel herself has entered the conversation through a book. She's writing her story, and the title alone sends chills through your spine. Built on Lies: My Life as Someone Else's Daughter. That's not a small title. That's not random. That's not for attention. That's a young woman telling the world she lived a life based on secrets. She posted a small teaser recently saying, "This isn't just about who my father is. It's about finally telling the truth." That alone tells us everything. This isn't a rumor to her. It's her reality. And she's choosing to speak, even if it hurts people she loves. This story is still unfolding, and the truth is only getting louder. Share your thoughts below, hit subscribe, and stay ready. The next update might change everything.